You're listening to the weekly Parsha Podcast with Ari Goldwag, recorded with Hashem's never-ending assistance in Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel, 5785, 2025. This week's Parsha is Parsha Savo, and the Shabbat, 2 Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah every year, we read the Teichacha. We also do it 2 Shabbos before Shavuos, time of Din. We're coming into a time of judgment, and it's a time of reevaluation, recognition of what happens when we do what's wrong, and what happens when we do what's right. When we do what's right, we get all the blessings in the world. When we do what's wrong, heaven forbid, the result is the opposite. And right after the Torah gives us all of the negative repercussions for not following Hashem's will, for losing our relationship with Him. So the Torah finishes off and says, Eila divrei habris asher tziva Hashem es Moshe. These are the words of the covenant that God commanded Moses, the Choraises b'nei Yisrael be'eretz Moav, to create this covenant with the children of Israel in the land of Moab. They're about to enter the land of Israel. Besides for the covenant that Hashem made with them at Har Sinai, at Mount Sinai. Okay, so we have, at the beginning of the 40 years, we have a covenant. Klal Yisrael enters in at Har Sinai. We receive the Torah. We make a deal with God, an everlasting deal. We become Hashem's bride. And as we're about to enter into the land of Eretz Yisrael, there's another, call it reassessment, or call it recommitment to our relationship with Hashem. A new covenant is formed, and we enter into Eretz Yisrael. And so these 2 points in time are very much connected. And we're going to learn together a medrash, which really goes on the next passuk. And the next passuk says, I'll read it for you. This is in Perek Chavtes, Pasuk Aleph, chapter 29, verse 1. Vayikra Moshe kol Yisrael, vayimar lehem. Moshe calls to the children of Israel, all of the children of Israel, and he says to them, you saw all that Hashem did in front of your very eyes in the land of Egypt. Now let's remember, we had a whole generation that passed away, but anyone who was under 20, 40 years later, was still alive. Anyone who was under 20 at the time of Chet HaMeraglim was still alive. So you have here people, many of whom had seen the Exodus from Egypt. They had seen all the miracles. They had seen Har Sinai. You saw everything that was done to them. Okay, so there's a connection again between the past, 40 years before, and the current moment about to step into Eretz Yisrael. Don't forget what happened in the past. You saw incredible miracles with your own eyes. The signs and the wonders, the great signs and wonders. And this is very interesting. We're going to try to understand this. Listen carefully. Hashem did not give you a heart to understand, and eyes to see, and ears to hear, until today. Something happened on this day. Something happens in the Jewish people's history, right as they're about to enter the land of Israel. A new understanding, a new wisdom came into their heart. This very day. Okay, I'm not going to keep reading. Hashem accompanied us, pushed us along the path for 40 years in the wilderness. Now, we had a covenant at Sinai. We received the Torah at Har Sinai, and there's a renewal of that covenant as we're entering into Eretz Yisrael. We're again going to receive the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu is giving us a recap of the Torah, a Mishnah Torah. We're hearing it again. Excuse me, Zeh Shamar HaKasuv. Says the Medrash, this is what the passuk means in Mishlei. Passuk in Mishlei, Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon says, in the 2nd chapter, the very first pasuk, Bini, my son, my beloved son, im tikach amarai mitzvos titzpoin itach. Excuse me, if you will take my words and you will incorporate into yourself, hide inside of yourself, so to speak, not literally hide, but bring into it, incorporate the mitzvos into yourself. Now, the Medrash points out that there's a funny word in this pasuk, because at the end of the verse, the pasuk says, if you will do this, usually it follows up and says, then something will happen. But it doesn't. It just says, my son, if you will learn the Torah, if you will keep the mitzvahs. Pasuk could have said, Shlomo HaMelech could have instructed us, my son, learn the Torah, keep the mitzvos. But he doesn't say it that way. He says, if you will. So Medrash wants to understand, why does he say if? What is it dependent on? What's the Tanai here? What's the condition? Mahu im tikach amorai. Why does the passuk say, if you will take my words? Amar Rav Huna b'shem Rabacha. Rav Huna says in the name of Rabacha, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. God says to the people of Israel, Bonai, loitei tarasi alechem, don't think, Hashem says to Am Yisrael, this is what the pasuk means to say, there's a condition in receiving the Torah. You got to have the right condition in the way that you approach receiving the Torah. Don't think that the Torah is something that Hashem is desperate to get rid of. Like an old maid, a woman, her father has been waiting for her to get married for decades. She's 50 years old already. Whoever will come and marry her, I wish someone would come and marry her, the father says. Don't think that the Torah is something that Hashem is desperate to get rid of, and whoever will come and take it, he's like, okay, just take it. There's a condition for receiving the Torah. There's a condition for taking my words, Hashem says. And that condition is, im yehelachem schus, if you have the merit, and what the merit means is, if you have the proper approach to the Torah and you understand that it's something that's precious. It's not an old maid, the Torah. It's not something Hashem is desperate to get rid of. It's something that everybody wants. Everybody's trying to grab it. You gotta come first. Rutzu liknot, like they say in Israel. Run, hurry to the store and get it before the supplies are gone, while supplies last. If you have the merit, which means the right attitude about the Torah, how important it is, how desired it is, then you'll receive the Torah. The angels of the ministering angels of Hashem, they wanted the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu comes up to Shamayim, to heaven, and he wants to grab the Torah, bring it down to the earth. And the angel's like, hey, what's going on here? What is this Yelud Isha? What is this human being trying to do? To take the Torah, bring down this spiritual treasure down to earth? They didn't want to let it go. They wanted it. Hashem says, but I didn't let them have it. Everybody wanted. It's a young girl, a young maiden, a beautiful young maiden. The Torah is. Everybody's trying to grab her hand in marriage. The Torah is something that it's so precious and so desired. Everyone is trying to get it. All the malachim are trying to hold on to it, not let it go. Hashem said, it's not for the malachim, it's for you. Shenemar malchet tzivois yidoidun yidoidun. Which is interesting. The Medrash takes this pasuk out of context. It's actually talking about the kings of the nations who were in the land of Israel when we came in. And that could apply back 3,300 years ago. It could apply right now. They scattered. When the Jewish people came in, they scattered. They were afraid. They saw the power of the Jewish people, which is really the power of Hashem manifesting in this world. But the Medrash understands it to mean that the malache tzivakos, the angels of the hosts of Hashem, they were scattered. They were moved out of the way. They were trying desperately to hold on, just like the Arabs are trying desperately to hold on to the land of Israel because they know what it means. They know this is the place of the chosen ones of God. So they're trying to hold on to it desperately, and Am Yisrael has to kick them out and bop them to the side and say, this is our land, this is our Eretz Yisrael, it's precious because it's our spiritual heritage. And the Torah is the same. The Malachim were trying to hold on to it, not allow it to be brought down to earth. And Moshe Rabbeinu comes in and moves them out of the way, shoves them aside and grabs the Torah. The Torah is something so precious, so desirable. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. Everyone wants the land of Israel. Same thing. It's so precious, so valuable, so powerful. That's im tikach amarai. Don't think you can just take the Torah. Don't think you could just take the word of Hashem and just do the mitzvahs. It's something that you got to realize there's a condition for it. Im tikach amarai. If you will take it, it's conditional. What does it depend on? It depends on your recognition of how important it is, how valuable it is, how spiritual it is, what an impact it will have on your life. The pasuk says, Which means that Hashem takes the precious thing of his house, his precious daughter, which is the Torah, and he gives it out as spoils. What does it mean? The angel said, what are you doing? This amazing thing, this pleasurable thing, the Torah. You're giving it away. You're taking away from the spiritual realm and you're giving it down to the physical realm. They complained. Got to realize this is it. This is it. When you learn the Torah, when you do the Mitzvos, when you have a relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, this is the real deal. This is the treasure. That's what it means. It means if you have the merit, if you have that recognition of how powerful the Torah is, so then you can take the Torah. The end of the passuk says, it's the passuk, I believe it's the passuk in Mishlei. Yes. You're supposed to internalize, you're supposed to hide within you the Torah. That means, in a certain sense, there's a tznius, there's a modesty that's needed when you keep the Torah. When you do a mitzvah, you do someone a favor, you don't need to announce it. You learn a daf Gemara, you don't need to announce it. You listen to a Parsha Podcast, share the word, but you don't need to announce it. It should be tzafon, it should be hidden. It's something that the word tzafon means piled up. Tzaf means the word tzaf means to float. So you have things piling one on top of the other. The mitzvahs, when we fulfill the Torah, when we develop our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it piles up, it adds up, it's something that gets set aside in a treasure house. And Hashem sets aside, corresponding to that, the reward in the world to come. Shenemar, the pasuk says, how great is the good that you have set aside for those who fear you. Okay, so concept-wise, what do we have here? We have value the Torah. Also value it in such a way, because real spiritual things, right, all of the spiritual things that exist in the world are the opposite of the physical. In the physical realm, I want grandeur, I want greatness. My ego says, fill me up. Let me give tzedakah so they'll write my name on a building. Okay, it's good. It's good to do it even for the wrong reasons, right? Am Yisrael needs the money for the buildings. We need people who are wealthy to give that money. But ideally, give the money and don't write your name on the building. I just heard from Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Perry. He said that you see that covered honor is more powerful, has a greater value than money, right? Because a person gives up their money in order to have the covered, the honor of having the name on the building, right? So you see that honor is of greater value. And of course, we should all seek, if we're going to seek honor, so we should seek honor for doing mitzvahs. That's, we shouldn't seek honor for things that are inconsequential. But ideally, we should not be seeking honor. Ideally, we should be seeking Hashem's honor, doing it for the glory of Hashem, Lishma. That's the highest level. So we're looking at a spiritual acquisition here. It's something that when we do it right, so it gets stored away for the future. It gets stored away. And then the schar is waiting for us in the future. You might not see it here. Dabar acher, the Medrash says another concept, another explanation. Im tikach amorai, if you will take my words. Amar Yehuda bar Shalom Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, im esem yatem nikoraim bone kisha tikchu amorai. The word im, which means if, which seems out of place here. We could say that the pasuk means to say like this: Bini, you are my son. Im tikach amorai. Hashem is saying, you want to be a treasured child of mine? I love all my children, but you want to be a treasured, special child of mine? Take my word. Develop your relationship with me. See what it means to have a real relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we're after. So, Bini, you will be my treasured son. Im tikach amorai. if you take my words, and if you hide the mitzvahs inside of you, you fill yourself up with it, and nobody knows about it. Says the Medrash, what is this comparable to? In the olden days, a person could be a prince, not be recognizable. They didn't have newspapers and social media in those times. We didn't know what the prince looked like. You can live in a kingdom and not know what the king looks like, for that matter. But usually the king went through the kingdom and was seen. But the prince wants to be recognized. He said, Father, I want to go out. I want people to know that I'm your son. So give me some kind of sign, some kind of indication. People can know that I'm your son. Amar le Aviv. So his father says to him, you want everyone to know that you're my son. Wear my purple robes, my royal robes, and take my crown and put it on your head. If you do that, no one else is allowed to wear royal robes in the times of royalty. So they had this special purple that they made from the Murex trunculus snail, the purple dye and the royal blue dye, royal purple, royal blue, and it was illegal, which is why we lost the knowledge of what tchelis is. It was illegal for anyone else to use that dye and to dye garments with the purples and the blues. So what happens? So only one person is allowed to wear those colors, and that's the king. So if the prince wants everyone to know that he's the prince, just put on the royal garments, put on the royal crown. What are those two items? You want people to know that you are my children, that you are godly, that you represent me in the world? Here's what you need to do. You get two things. Take my words, learn the Torah, and take the mitzvahs and fill yourself up with the mitzvahs. Fill yourself up with the commandments. The more you do that, the more of a relationship you have with me. The more that you fill yourself up with that, the more you know, the more you're interested in a relationship with me, the more it becomes seen. You see the royal garments on a person who is learning the Torah, on a person who is seeking to do the mitzvahs of Hashem. Beautiful idea. Okay? So it's im tikach amorai. When is it clear that you are my son? Not just you are my beloved son, when is it clear that you are Hashem's child? That you are the prince? When you're learning the Torah. When what's coming out of your mouth is all about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, godliness. When the mitzvahs adorn you. When you have that crown. When you have the beautiful purple garment. You're wearing your tzitzis. Everyone sees the tzitzis. This is the sign that shows that I am the prince. Now, I want to share with you, before actually I read further in the Medrash, I want to share with you something amazing. Because really, it's like, how do I get this value? We said that in the first Pshat in the Medrash, we said, what's the prerequisite? Im tikach hamare. There's a condition to be able to take the Torah. To receive the Torah, to learn the Torah, to do the mitzvahs, there's a condition. What's the condition? That you have this chus. You have this chus, you recognize the power of it. It's a spiritual thing. The angels didn't want to let go of it. There's a Rashi here on these pasukim, which when I tripped over it, I understood the Medrash. And it says, as we quoted earlier, the Jewish people had received the Torah 40 years before. They had experienced incredible things. We're going to talk about it shortly in the Medrash. And they were entering in, renewing the covenant with HaKadosh Baruch Hu today. There was something that they didn't get until now. What was new today that they got? So Rashi says here, Ada yamazeh shamati, I heard a pshat, she'oiseh hayom, shenasa Moshe sefer Torah lebnei Levi. On that day, there had been an interesting circumstance occurred. The children of Levi got a gift from Moshe. Moshe wrote for them a Sefer Torah, a special Sefer Torah just for the children of Levi. The passuk says that he gave the Torah to the Kohanim, to the priests, the children of Levi. So, I don't know what it looked like exactly. Maybe there was some kind of Achnasas Sefer Torah. I don't know exactly. But they got it. There was some kind of ceremony. The children of Levi received the Torah. Bo kol Yisrael lifnei Moshe v'amar le Moshe Rabbeinu afanu amanu b'Sinai v'kibalnu Torah v'nitna lanu. The Jewish people got upset. They said, Moshe Rabbeinu, you're giving only the children of Levi, your tribesmen, you're giving them the Torah? We were there at Har Sinai. We received the Torah too. We were in that covenant. Why are you giving it only to them? You're giving them the power over the Torah. The Jewish people complained and they said, you're giving the Torah to the Levites. Tomorrow they're going to say that the Torah was only given to them and not to us. That's not right. It's not fair. We want you to give us a Sefer Torah. We want it to be clear that the Torah is not just for the Levites, not just for the Kohanim, not just for an elite. The Torah is for the entire Jewish people. We want it too. Give it to us too. They demanded. The Samach Moshe Adavar. Moshe was so excited. He said, yes, yes. When they said, we want the Torah too, Moshe Rabbeinu says, now you got it. Now you got it. Now I see, says Moshe Rabbeinu, now I see that you guys are interested in being connected to Hashem. Okay, a child walking along in the midbar, everything is given to them on a silver platter, everything is good. But who says you appreciate it? Who says you're interested in it? You've never seen anything else. Maybe you vaguely remember what happened in Egypt. Now Moshe Rabbeinu says, I see that you actually care about this. This is the day, this is the big day. You didn't get it until today, and now you got it. Let's go back to the Medrash. Amar Rebbe, Kishahoyu Yisrael Bamidbar, Vaymahalech Amud Ha'onon Lifneim. When Klal Yisrael was in the Midbar, in the wilderness, so the cloud of glory was walking in front of them. Fire were coming up, unbelievable miracles. You want to know the power of the Jewish people? Listen to this. It's their avodas Hashem. For that fire was shooting out from the Holy of Holies, from between the staves of the Aron, of the ark, and the fire would go out and burn all of the snakes and scorpions and everything that would stand in their way. The nations of the world saw this incredible miracle that was going on, and they said, these are gods, lowercase g. These Jews are powerful. Kol tashmish ein be'esh. They're coming in with fire, with fireballs. Right? They're coming through here. They're destroying with beepers and airplanes and destructive forces. You know where the power comes from? That we have firepower. What's the real firepower of the Jewish people? What's the mania? What's the engine that runs the airplanes of Tzahal? What's the power of it? It's the Torah. It's what we received at Sinai, right? It's from between the Badei HaAron. The fire comes out from between the staves of the ark. What's inside of the ark is the Torah. That's the fire. That's the power. It's our commitment to Torah. It's the B'nai Torah that are sitting and learning, defying army orders, because the army won't work without the fire of the Torah, imbuing them with that power. That's the im amorai tikach. If you will take the words of the Torah, that's the power of the Torah. It gives you the power over your enemies, over all of that which would try to stop you and hurt you. So that's why Moshe is giving us this we read this at the beginning. Moshe is giving us a whole speech over here. This is the day that you become a nation. But what did they see? We saw all the miracles that Hashem did for you. In Egypt you saw it. What was the power of it? Where did the power come from that all of those miracles happened? The incredible miracles that your eyes saw. Where did it come from? The power came from the fact that you're about to receive the Torah. It actually worked retroactively. The fact that they received the Torah gives them power to have miraculous shlita, dominion. That's the word I'm looking for. Dominion over their enemies. Masis means miracles, but it also means to squash. The makos were squashing the Egyptians. What are the signs? The bodies of the Egyptians were left with all kinds of scars from the blood and the frogs and the lice. The Egyptians were fooled, right? There was psychological damage and there was physical damage to them. But again, where did the power come from? Where did the power come from? And Moshe Rabbeinu was saying this to them as they're about to enter into the land of Israel. You want to know what gives you the power to overcome and to have success against your enemies in the land of Israel? It's the power is the power of the Torah. It's the Torah that gives you the power. It's the Torah that from there the fire shoots out. It's the B'nai Torah who are sitting and learning. It's us who we are studying together these amazing words of a medrash. This is it. This is it. This is the thing. So we have here really three foundational concepts. Number one, in order to approach the Torah, you have to approach it with it's conditional. You have to get that in order to get the Torah, you got to appreciate the Torah. You have to appreciate the Malachim want it, the Leviim want it, Am Yisrael has to want it. And the second point is that when you have the Torah, it becomes clear that you are a child of Hashem. You are a prince. It changes you. It changes the word. Everyone can see it on you. Your face is shining. You're a prince. You look different. You're a different human being. You're not so focused on yourself. You're not so egotistical. You've changed. You've become echpati. You care about others. You love other people. Just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us. You're forgiving. You're tolerant of others. And then the last point is that those who have the Torah have the power. They have the power. Nothing gets in our way because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in our lives. The power of being a prince. Think about a prince. Wherever he goes, he has that sign on his forehead. He has the crown on his head. Everyone make way for the prince. Whatever he wants. Yes, Your Majesty. What would you like? How can I serve you, Your Majesty? The light of the king is shining on the face, on the crown of his head, on the purple garment that he enclosed himself in. Each and every one of us has that ability to grab onto the Torah, to recognize the power of the Torah, to have that schus. I want to bless you. I ask you to bless me. Hashem should help us. That we should see and understand the incredible merit, the incredible opportunity that we have to learn, the incredible chance that we have to have a relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu and draw Him into our lives, to recognize every moment that we are princes, that Hashem is the King, and Hashem should help us, that we should be able to overcome all of our enemies. We should recognize the power of this very Torah that we're learning in this moment, that it is that which gives power to all of the marechet. All of the systems are getting powered by our Torah. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos. This podcast was made possible through the gracious donations of listeners like you. For more podcasts like this, please visit www.arigoldwag.com or search on iTunes Ari Goldwag.